Welcome back to Scissors and Scrubs, Summer 24. Mm-hmm. We are digging deep today for some topics. We are digging deep. So on Monday, I went to, my husband's an idiot. On Monday, we went to see Steve Miller, Journey, and Def Leppard. Mm-hmm. Not the biggest Def Leppard fan, but...
Now, out of all those, I would think you like Def Leppard.
Oh, Journey. It was Journey all day long.
Really?
Those Steve Miller sounded amazing. Journey took a little while to warm up. I have to give Def Leppard their props. They killed it.
Wow.
The lead singer, Joe Elliott. Joe Elliott, what has happened to you? What has happened to you? I thought it was somebody's mother going to the wedding. No, somebody's grandmother going to a wedding. He has a bowl cut that's white.
No one should ever have a bowl cut.
No man should ever have a bowl cut. No. I'm up there with no bowl cuts, no man buns, but that's my own personal preference.
No, 100%.
So he had a bowl cut. He's wearing a black t-shirt, black pants, and he had on a sequin jacket. Like my grandmother would have worn because she can't wear anything else because of her roomy arms. You know what I mean? So he's going backstage for fucking costume change. I'm like, okay, he's coming out in like the Union Jack t-shirt or something. Yeah. No, we traded the sequin jacket out for a gold jacket. Exactly the same.
Oh my God.
And the gold jacket got traded out for a red jacket. Exactly the same. I was like,
has he gained weight? Is he self-conscious of his
I don't know. Body? I actually thought maybe he's gay. I did Google it to see is he gay, and I didn't know it.
Well, I don't think that means you.
Because I've never seen a grown-ass man of that age. He's got to be 62, 63. And I only know that because I had to Google how old Rick Allen is here. And he's the youngest one in the band. And he is, he's 1963. So he's getting up there himself. Mm-hmm. So he's up there.
Yeah.
And I just thought, like, you can't be cooler than that. Like, just a look. Yeah. The guys from Journey who would double his age are cooler than that. So, anyway.
He must have body image issues.
But they killed it. He, at one point he comes out and it's, acoustic. They give the band a break. So he's out there. And he's like, all right, well, I'm not going to talk to you guys like you're stupid. You clearly know my microphone is enhanced. We're all like, started laughing. He's like, I have an upper respiratory infection.
Oh.
It came on 30 hours ago. He said it was either cancel the show or just power through it. He said the Boston doctors, you know who he probably went to. He said, Boston doctors here are amazing. They took care of me. He goes, just help me with the song. So, and the songs he was singing, I didn't know. But they did it. I thought they did a great job.
Good.
So as I'm watching it, here comes the drummer at the end, and he's got that one arm. He's the one-arm drummer.
I literally have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, you're going to, Laura, because I'm going to discuss it. But not only does he have the one arm missing, and I'm telling you, like disarticulated shoulder missing, it's like fucked up. It's like the Rock of Gibraltar. His arm goes up. So he's all like twisted. Oh. And I thought, that can't be good.
No.
Like, that can't feel good.
No.
So he's like...
You would think it would throw off your whole back.
It looks like he has scoliosis. And I thought, like, I've seen people with... you see the war vets all the time. I've never seen them with this back thing, but apparently it obviously fucked up his shoulder as well. Yeah. So my part of this, we're going to talk about Rick Allen, the drummer of Def Leppard, and why he has a fucked up back and a disarticulated arm, which if you don't know what a disarticulated arm is he lost his arm at the shoulder joint. Yeah. And they took the whole goddamn thing. Mm-hmm. Rick Allen was born November 1st, 1963. Huh. He joins Def Leppard at the age of 15.
Oh my God.
That's my son's age.
What mother lets you join
Def Leppard at 15? She brought him to the
tryouts.
Yes,
audition.
Yes, she brings him the tryouts.
Whatever. I'm a sports girl.
she's in Olympic mode. So, 1984, Def Leppard has its biggest year to date. They release Pyromania, great album. I was in 5th grade. You were like 4.
I was 5.
Yep. I had the Velcro wallet with the Pyromania symbol on the front. I thought it was the fucking shit. Wow. I'm pretty sure I got that at the book fair. As somebody said, I got my bad spending habits at the book fairs in my school.
100%. I just want this and this.
Yeah. So in December 31st, New Year's Eve, 1984, Rick Allen is 21.
Okay.
Rolling in money, living the dream at 21. He's, top band, getting the chicks. He's loving it. He has this beautiful Chevy Corvette Stingray, which in 1984 was almost as cool as an IROC.
Almost.
Almost as
Maybe
cool.
It was a West Coast
Every
cool.
kid in Revere had their IROC. Okay, the T.
Yep.
Oh,
No, I know what you're talking about.
Fucking loved it. Okay, so he has his, and it's a left-handed stick shift because he's in England. So if you're driving a stick shift, in the United States, you're going to drive it with your right hand.
I'm sorry, Def Leppard's from England?
I'm sorry, Mike. Did she actually just ask me that?
I had no idea.
Laura, you did live through the 80s. They were like one of the biggest. They were up there with Poison.
I didn't know they were from
Motley Crue.
Yeah, I didn't listen to that.
Oh my God. Yes.
The whole thing was the Union Jack.
The whole thing.
I knew they wore that, but
he wears earmuffs while he drums. Union Jack around the earmuffs.
I had no idea.
Joe Elliott, every concert wore the Union Jack t-shirt. So yes, he's from England.
Wow.
They're very English.
Oh.
I can't believe I was just asked that. Okay. Anyway, really, I thought I knew you better than that. So it's a left-handed stick shift. So it's driving that. It's just fucked up. It's already hard to drive a stick shift, let alone a left-handed stick shift. So he and his girlfriend, and I don't know why I'm struggling with her name, but I am. It's Miriam Barronson. Yeah, we'll go with that. They're out for a lovely afternoon drive because it's unseasonably warm in Sheffield, England on this afternoon.
55.
Yes. I'll get into it. They were on the A57 in England. Okay, so he's fucking cruising in his Stingray. You can hear that motor going.
Yeah.
Bum, 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 bum. He passes this bridge. There's an Alfa Romeo on the bridge.
Oh,
he's not going to be upstaged by the fucking Stingray. Out he comes, overtakes the Stingray. This proceeds to be a back and forth between, and you have seen the roads in Ireland. The roads in rural England are not much better. Yeah. Okay, they're very the size of a driveway. They're very small, very windy, lots of sheep, lots of
I don't understand in Europe why they just couldn't make things straight.
I don't know. You're going through some of these pastures.
Like everything is, yeah. Okay.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. Now, I have always been under the impression that he was shit-faced this day. But nothing, and look, I didn't do extensive research. I wasn't like digging deep on this, but nothing I read stated that he was under the influence of any kind. He's got his sunroof open. They're supposedly both buckled in. He didn't really get in that great. I think this boils down more to I'm a 20-year-old dick. I'm going to be, how the attitude and the bravado and the ego.
I'm going to beat you.
Yeah, this is what it turns to. So these two, they're going back and forth, back and forth. The Alfa Romeo passes him and he keeps trying to come around this Alfa Romeo and it's not happening. The guy would speed up and then hit slow down, hit catch up on his bumper, hit brake, check him, and they'd speed and then hit catch up. And this is going on for like 10, 15 minutes. The girlfriend's like having a complete fucking shit fit.
Yeah.
At one point, they are literally like window to window. So when he gets window to window, he doesn't see the curve coming up.
Yeah.
And they're probably doing 95, 100 miles an hour on this road. So as he says himself, in his rage to pass, he didn't see the curve ahead.
Oh, God.
And I can see this.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly how it played out. He loses control on the curve. He doesn't make the curve, flips the car. It flips over a stone wall.
Oh, my God.
As it's flipping, his seatbelt wasn't in great. He is going out the sunroof and the seatbelt takes his arm off.
Oh.
Okay. So, and it's completely severed off.
Yeah.
The car ends up on its roof. Miriam is still inside. She is, by the grace of God, properly belted in, but she's upside down.
Jesus.
Near the field is a nurse that lives there, and a nurse happens to be passing by. What are the chances?
Yeah.
They see Miriam at this point has gotten herself out of the car. She's just walking around the field like freaking out.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So the nurse comes up. They find his arm is under the dashboard, and one of the nurses has the wherewithal to get the arm and put it on ice and send it to the hospital with him. He had also broken his right arm.
Oh, Jesus.
Right arm. So not a great
he probably did this.
They don't, he's like, not a good prognosis for a drama.
No.
You're really fucked if you break your arms. So his girlfriend's taken to a nearby home, and then she's taken to the hospital. She suffered a concussion and a severe whiplash. He's taken to Royal Hallamshire Hospital in Sheffield, England. He recalls being conscious right after the accident and screaming out, "God, I'll never play drums again." Like, people on scene had said, first thing he said, I'm a drummer. Like, I don't know what you think they're going to do for you, buddy. It's too late now. You should have thought about that before you tried to pass the Alfa Romeo. The police did catch up with the two guys in the Alfa Romeo, but they deny everything. They I don't know what happened.
Right.
And
there's no cameras.
Right.
Yeah.
So in a 4-hour operation, Dr. Robert Page, which that made me laugh because I'm thinking of Robert Plant, Jimmy Page, England. Do you know who Led Zeppelin
I
is,
do.
Laura? Okay. Do you know they're
English? I
English?
also did not
Laura?
know that they were English, no.
She's not serious. She's really not serious.
They don't sing with an accent.
Nobody sings it.
Right.
You
So
said
how
Milli
would I know?
Vanilli.
They were from England?
Milli Vanilli didn't sing their own songs.
I know that.
They were German.
German. Well, so I was like,
And
they
I
weren't
remember
English.
thinking back in the day, like, he's got such a thick accent. How is he possibly singing that song? I knew then.
Sure you didn't.
I was only 11. Okay, anyway.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
You said they put the arm on ice.
Yep.
Is there any thought that they could reattach it?
If you let me finish about
Jesus Christ,
Dr. Robert
Mike.
Page, I got sidetracked with Led Zeppelin, my favorite rock band of all time. He took 4 hours and he puts the arm back on.
In 4 hours?
4 hours, which is why it didn't work. Laura.
Yeah.
Okay. By January 4th, the arm is gangrenous and necrotic, and now they have to take it off, which is
He put it back on, just didn't attach any blood vessels.
Exactly. Oh, he's a microvascular surgeon, but microvascular surgeon in 1984. I don't know what they were really doing, because I know we weren't really doing hand transplants in 94 10 years later when I'm working at the OR.
As a layman,
Yeah.
is that ever successful?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they had some kid in Maine, maybe. It was on the news, which is why I'm saying it. He had his hand ripped off by like a pasta machine and like ripped off his arm. And he was one of the first, so he was a young kid, they put his arm back on. What they don't tell you is how painful
it's very,
having
very,
reattachment
all those
is.
nerves.
A hand reattach, any kind of a reattachment, extremely, extremely painful. So that's kind of what they don't tell you, and it's lifelong pain. So I think depending on what's taken off of me, I may be like, let's, if my pinky goes,
You're going to keep my pinky.
my middle finger, my tips of my fingers, you can keep them. I'm not going back.
Yeah, we always say that. Look, you don't need the tip.
You don't know. What are you going to do with it? If you've got a grip with the bottom half, I'll make it work. So it comes off. So at one point they think he's going to lose both arms because the other one's so badly broken as well. The band rallies around him. They all hear it. They're recording what comes after Pyromania? You know it. I'm gonna say it in a minute. It's the one where Pour Some Sugar on Me is on that album. I can't think.
I was going to say Pour Some Sugar.
Hysteria. They're recording the Hysteria.
I knew that one. That's the
I
only one
knew
I know.
you knew that one. I knew you would know that one.
Celia.
They're recording the Hysteria album, so they leave the recording studios. They come to the hospital immediately, and it never occurs to them that they're going to get another drummer, which I got to give them credit.
Yeah, that's nice.
And all of the bands you hear from that time, who's fighting, David Lee Roth kicked out, Vince Neil, everybody hates him. You hear all these fights. You never hear that with Def Leppard.
It's because they're English.
One of the guitarists died from alcohol or drugs, one of the two. They've replaced him, but I think everybody else is the original members of the band. Not the most attractive band I've ever seen, but they sound good. Okay, so they rally around him and they're like, well, we got to figure this out. So this guy, I'm sure he was mentioned earlier in the episode. Earlier when I was reading. I was tired. I wasn't going back. His name's Mutt. That's the last name. I don't know who he is to the band.
Oh, that's the last name.
I am going with he's the manager of some sort.
Yeah.
So he comes in, shows up at the hospital, and he starts actually talking about the possibility of creating a drum kit that he can play with his feet.
Oh.
And they're like, all right. The band is getting calls from everybody. Like, you need a new drummer. You're going to need a drummer. You're going to need a drummer. And they're like, we're not talking about that yet. So Rick Allen, he's 21 years old. He's making rapid progress. They're telling him it's going to be a 6-month recovery. He's out of the hospital in like 2 weeks.
My God.
He has to learn how to walk again because he has to rebalance now.
Right.
You don't think of these things.
But your arm is going to throw you off.
That's probably 40 pounds right there, or whatever, and it's going to throw you off. He has to learn how to do everything one-handed now, eat one-handed. Thank God he has his right hand. I'm assuming, Rick Allen, you're right-handed. So he has to learn how to do everything with the one hand. After 6 weeks, not the 6 months, he's released from the hospital. He spends 2 weeks at home with his parents before meeting up with the band.
My God.
And he's with his new customized Simon's drum kit. And he literally puts himself in a room for 3 weeks with this drum kit, and he won't let anybody come in. And he practices with it, and practices with it, and practices with it, and practices with it. After 3 weeks, he calls them in, and he plays When the Levee Breaks by Led Zeppelin, an English band. And if you've ever heard the song When the Levee Breaks, it's very drum heavy. It's a great, the drum beat, it's fucking great. It's one of my favorite songs. Like, you just hear it. You have to be driving a Chevy Stingray Corvette doing 120 miles an hour when that song's playing. Like, you immediately put the gas on, open the windows, and you crank it. It's one of the best songs I've ever heard. So he plays this song to them, and they're like, that's it. He's on. So they go in, they release the Hysteria album in 1987, and the rest is history. He did, I get my information from Behind the Music, which was one of my favorite shows ever. And This Day in Music in Def Leppard UK. Part of the interviews, they show you how he has, he's got like 5 pedals.
I was going to say, he must
pedals.
Use the pedals.
He has 5 pedals because he can't reach with he's like, I can't reach over to hit the toms.
Right,
and
get
I
it
can't reach
back.
over to hit this. Yeah. So these will activate that. And it's not electric drums. Like he's playing a drum set.
Right.
So he crushed it at Fenway.
Nice.
He's in his 60s now.
Right. I mean, it's been more without one arm.
Yeah.
I mean, more without.
Oh yeah, clearly. But it really did fuck up his back somehow. Like his shoulder goes up. It's kind of disturbing. Like there's a guy, I know we don't watch Fox News, but my husband does, Joey Jones. He's a Marine, lost both his legs. It's fucking hot. Joey Jones is hot.
I think I know who does.
So I'm okay. Like, it's not that amputees would disturb me that much, but this shoulder thing, I don't know if I could get
Well, it's the way it's poking.
It's poking out.
Yeah.
And it's up higher than the other shoulder.
And it's probably because it happened so long ago.
Yeah,
now it would probably
it's all scarred down and shit. Yeah. I don't know. It disturbs me. Okay. All right. So we are pairing the concert summer series with the Olympics because that's Laura's favorite thing on the fucking world.
Went to a concert and I was sitting on the couch watching the Olympics because it's my favorite 2 weeks.
Don't I know it?
My
kids think about you every 4 years or every 2 years now.
You know what? I'll be long dead and they'll be telling their grandkids, "Oh, there was once this girl Laura. She loved these Olympics, so we're gonna watch it for her." So,
in memory of Laura, we're gonna watch the Olympics.
So, I'm watching the opening ceremonies. And there's Celine Dion strapped to the Eiffel Tower, belting her heart out. And I'm like, I thought she wasn't out in public. I thought she
never strapped me to the Eiffel Tower. Too fucking.
No, I couldn't barely get you onto the Eiffel Tower.
I wouldn't. You know what note you'd hear is. That's the only note that would be coming out of my mouth. As
could
I
barely
shit
get you
myself.
on the Eiffel Tower.
No, I wouldn't even go to the top.
I know.
Let alone strap me. No.
So I'm watching. I'm like, I thought she couldn't do that. I thought she was like had this thing going on. Blah blah blah. So that's what I did. And she has stiff person syndrome. And I got this from Johns Hopkins and People.
And this is where my husband would say, I have your stiff person syndrome right here.
Mm-hmm. Stiff person syndrome is a rare autoimmune neurological disorder. It most commonly causes muscle stiffness and painful spasms that come and go and worsen over time. The spasms.
She's had this a while, right?
Yeah. The spasms often begin in the legs or back, but can affect the abdomen, upper trunk, arms, neck, and face. Spasms can occur in episodes, especially if the person is surprised, startled, or moves suddenly.
Ooh.
Cold temperatures, emotional stress, certain exercises, or touch can also trigger spasms. So anything, like your shirt brushing against you can trigger it. The areas where the spasms occur can be stiff and board-like. So if you get them in your legs all the time, your legs start to get just stiff all the time. And depending on the area of the spasms, they can cause difficulty walking, stiff or rigid posture, unsteadiness or falling, shortness of breath, chronic pain, hyperlordosis, which is like a big curve in the lower back that develops over time because of all the muscle tightness. And that can cause spinal cord compression. Anxiety and agoraphobia due to falls caused by spasms.
I get it. Yeah. I can get that all day long.
So there are different types of stiff person syndrome. There's the classic. The classic is the most common type. The symptoms are stiffness and spasms.
Everyone likes a good classic.
Yeah. Stiffness and spasms in the lower back, legs, and sometimes the abdomen. These people have frequent spasms. They walk with a stiff gait, and they have pain most of the day. There is partial stiff person syndrome. It's sometimes called stiff limb syndrome, stiff leg syndrome, or stiff trunk syndrome. You have tightness and spasms are limited to a specific area, like just your right leg or just your trunk. And then there's stiff person syndrome plus. That is a combo of classic features of stiff person syndrome, which I will now just say SPS because it's a lot. Which has
it's too much
stiffness and spasm and symptoms that suggest brainstem and or cerebellar dysfunction.
Ooh, that's not good.
Yeah. People with SPS plus can have muscle spasms and rigidity, along with a lack of coordination, double vision, slurred speech, and other neurological symptoms. The causes are unknown, but it's believed to be an autoimmune disease. SPS affects more women than men, like most autoimmune diseases. Mm-hmm. Most people with SPS have unique antibodies in their blood called anti-GAD65. which blocks GAD. GAD helps make GABA neurotransmitter.
Oh,
So the GABA,
you need those.
yeah, GABA reduces or blocks certain nerve signals. So people with SPS have less GABA, which makes their nervous system hyperexcitable, which causes the spasms and it causes anxiety.
Yeah.
SPS is associated with other autoimmune disorders like type 1 diabetes, thyroid disorders, pernicious anemia, and vitiligo.
Well, this comes with a lot, huh?
It's like associated. So if you have one, you're more susceptible to have.
Yeah.
Cancer is associated with SPS
Oh.
in less than 5% of cases. But when it is seen, it is usually lung or breast cancer, which I thought was weird.
Yeah, that is kind of weird.
Yeah. So how do you diagnose this? They're going to take a very in-depth history into a very in-depth physical on you because these symptoms can be so many other things like the stiffness, the spasms.
It could be, you know. I was going to ask you, what's the difference between spastic MS and this?
Right. I mean, it's just the SPS is extremely rare. It happens in about 1 in 1 million people. It takes a long time and several tests to diagnose SPS. If the doctor is suspicious of SPS, they will take a detailed H&P, like I said. They will take blood tests for several factors, including the anti-GAD65, to see, like, do you have a lot of this? Is this what's causing this?
I've literally never heard of this till her.
Yeah. They'll do an EMG, which evaluates the body's nerve and muscle functions. Could do a lumbar puncture to rule out other causes.
Those hurt.
And look for anti-GAD65 in the spinal fluid. They can do an MRI, CT, and PET scans, and those are obtained to visualize the brain and the spinal cord to make sure nothing's actually going on with those, so they can rule that out. After diagnosis, the most important next step is creating a custom treatment plan to address your symptoms and prevent them from worsening. There is no cure. There is no specific treatment for SPS. They use other treatments to help reduce the symptoms.
Is there a prognosis for it?
I mean, you live, but
not well.
If you stick to your extremely rigid regimen
That would be awful.
and stay on the meds and do like
Everything they tell you. Well, she's got the money
You get
to
a little
stay
better.
on.
Yeah. So the custom treatment plan will address the syndromes, autoimmune, neurological, visual, mobility, and pain aspects. So they kind of just treat everything, but nothing's curing it.
Mm-hmm.
There is no cure, like I said, but the treatment will minimize the severity of the symptoms and improve the quality of life. Common meds that these people take, oral muscle relaxers like diazepam, clonazepam, baclofen, oral meds that affect the GABA neurotransmitter, like gabapentin, they'll take Botox for specific areas of spasm and tightness. So if it's always your right leg, they can shoot that up with Botox. If it's always your throat, they can shoot that up with Botox. They'll use immune therapies to modify the immune system in SPS. IV or sub-Q immunoglobulin is given. Plasma exchange is done. And IV immunosuppressant therapy and oral immunosuppressant therapies. Other treatments are physical therapy, like intense physical therapy.
You would have to.
Aquatic therapy at very warm temperatures because the cold makes it
would
worse.
stiffen up.
Heating pads. They do transcutaneous electrical nerve stimulation, which is a TENS unit, if people have heard that. Stretching, osteopathic manipulation, chiropractic treatment, massage, yoga, Pilates, acupuncture, acupressure, and cognitive behavior therapy to treat the anxiety and agoraphobia, if you get that. So on October 19th, 2021, Celine Dion announced that she needed to delay the opening of her Las Vegas residency due to, quote, unforeseen medical symptoms, including persistent and severe muscle spasms.
Oof.
She also canceled 21 headlining acts between November 2021 and February 2022.
That's a lot.
Yeah. In January 15th, 2022, she cancels the North American leg of her tour due to the spasms. April 2022, she postponed the European leg of her tour. August 2022, she is finally diagnosed with stiff person syndrome. She started a rigorous treatment plan, including medications, immune therapy, vocal therapy, and intense PT 5 days a week. December 2022, she announces to the public her diagnosis and that she's working really hard and hopes to get back to performing. May 26, 2023, she cancels all concerts scheduled through April 2024.
That stinks.
November 1st, 2023, she makes a rare public appearance. Like no one had seen her since like.
She's always looked kind of skinny and
yeah,
rough,
I mean, she's very frail looking, but she's seen at a Las Vegas hockey game with her sons, and like the owner of the team was like, oh, she looked great. Like she came into the thing, she was shaking people's hands, like she was very friendly, but like no one sees her ever. February 5th, 2024, she presents the Album of the Year award at the 2024 Grammys, which Taylor Swift won. Immediately after, people were like, Taylor Swift hugged everybody on that stage except for Celine Dion.
There's probably a reason she didn't touch her.
So then it comes out, the touch activates spasms or surprise. Like if she just went over and grabbed her, that could activate
Yeah, she probably strictly said, do not touch her.
So afterwards, there are pictures of them like posed, but I'm like, but you know it's coming. You know she's putting her arm around. Like it's not like a hug on a stage. And
you
like,
just, imagine
people
if that
just
happened
lose
on
their
stage.
minds. Yeah, that would be awful. April 24th, 2024, she tells Vogue in a interview, because she has I think it's an Apple. Now I can't remember. I think it's, or maybe Prime. I forget. She has a
special. Yeah,
like a series that's out now. So she's doing all these interviews. She tells Vogue she's unsure of when she'll be able to perform and tour. She's trying really hard. She's doing this regimen, but she still gets all these terrible spasms. June 7th, 2024, in an interview with NBC, Celine explains that her SPS causes foot stiffness. Like if she pushes down on a pedal, her foot will stay like that.
So she's not driving
like
anywhere.
If she points her toes, it will just lock in place. Also, she loves to cook, and if she's like using her hands, whatever to stir something,
this would be.
Her fingers lock in place, her hands lock in place, like they just lock
up
that
would
in
drive
place.
Me crazy.
And it's wicked painful. It's not even like they're just stuck. Also, her SBS feels like she's being strangled, and like someone is pushing on her larynx and pharynx. So she has to do this against singing. She says she experienced symptoms for 2 decades before being diagnosed.
Wow.
And like would push through to perform, like, oh, I'm getting spasms in my legs, but I'm, up here dancing and, touring, and I'm tired, and like there's a million other things. And she took Valium to treat the spasms, and she started at like 2 milligrams, and I think she ended up on like 90 milligrams.
So
and she's like, I could never have woken up. I didn't know how bad it was. And then she's like, now I realize I might not have woken up taking that. She does not take that. On July 26, 2024, Celine Dion stood on the Eiffel Tower and sang Hymn à l'amour at the opening ceremonies.
The dress was beautiful. I'm not gonna lie.
Perfect. It was so good. It was so good. She's got like a cable on her. I'm like, this woman, if she goes, she topples over, forget it. But I'm like, she's hooked up to that, right? And he's like, yeah, I can see the cable. I'm like, all right. She has been fighting this for 4 years, and she nails this performance live on the friggin' Eiffel Tower. It was so good. I may have teared up just a little bit.
That's a lot. You guys don't understand what that means if she's actually admitting that.
Well, I mean, it's the Olympics too, so that doesn't help. But she's for doing all that, and then to be able to belt out a song. Yeah. Standing on the Eiffel Tower. You haven't been seen in public.
And then there you are.
Yeah, it was so good.
She did. I didn't see it. I've seen clips of it. And I loved what she was wearing. I thought she looks stunning.
She did. She always looks good though.
Yeah.
Like her clothes are good.
She's classy. She's classy broad. Mm-hmm. The Olympics. I have 2 words. Pole vaulter. Holy shit.
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
That was something.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
I mean, if you're going to lose the medal, what better way, right?
Yeah.
I mean, holy moly. If you haven't seen it, Google pole vaulter Olympics.
France.
That was something.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to continue on my summer series.
Okay.
My concert summer series. Mm-hmm. Back in the day, I did like this band very much. Mm-hmm. Motley Crue. Still like them. But these guys are all getting old. You know what I mean? I still love me some Nikki Sixx. I'm not going to lie. But Vince Neil, dude, I don't know what happened to him, but he's a big old hot mess.
Yeah, he doesn't look great.
Big old hot mess. Yeah. So we're going to talk about a little scuffle he had.
Oh.
I actually an accident.
Have heard of this.
Yes. Well, what was the name? I was trying to remember the name of this show that was on Netflix. The Dirt.
The movie.
Oh my God, it was so good. It was so good. If you get to watch it, it's a docuseries on Motley Crue. Obviously, it's actors playing. It's not the real guys. But wow, it was funny. It was good. I didn't know about that until I watched The Dirt. I didn't know this had happened. So I got my information from loudersound.com. So we're not going to talk about Motley Crue right off the get-go. We're going to talk about Hanoi Rocks.
Oh.
Mike actually sent me the article on this guy. They are 5 glam-drenched sonic swashbucklers. That's what it starts with.
Okay.
5 glam-drenched sonic swashbucklers. So they all look like, if you look at Poison, the guitarist CC, that's what they look like. Like the blonde hair, the makeup, the outrageous outfits, as did Motley Crue. I mean, Vince Neil, they were over the top.
Yeah.
They were like Kiss Extreme. So the lead singer is Michael Monroe. The lead guitarist is Andy McCoy. The drummer is Nicholas Razzle Dingley. One of the guitarists is Nasty Suicide. And the bassist is Sam Laffa. I'm sorry, but they're not as important to the story as Nicholas, quote, Razzle Dingley. They're starting an American tour in Syracuse, New York.
Where are they from?
I think they're from England. Do you remember?
Can we not find American bands that are in the Olympics, guys?
Have you not heard of the British Invasion? British Invasion. Okay.
In the 80s?
But the American band that does The Dirty Deed, I mean, is Motley Crue. They are American, California born. So they're starting their tour. They're playing on stage, and they're all drinking. So there's a beer bottle hanging out on one of the amps. Spills all over the stage. Mike Monroe leaps from one of the PAs, hits it, breaks his ankle.
Oh.
So the band cannot tour until his leg is better. So the rest of them, they fly to LA. They had, I think they are from England because they had a brief, like Razzle somehow knows Vince Neil. Mm-hmm. They've hung out on other tours, but they weren't like best friends. Mm-hmm. But Motley Crue hears, fucking Hanoi Rocks is coming. We're going to have a huge party for them. These people party differently than I do. Like I'm having a little soiree tonight, right? I'm going to have some pizzas, a couple of drinks, a few friends over. This is a 4-day beer and drug-fueled frenzy. Okay? So they are like unconscious for like 4 days. They're drinking and drugging and drinking and drugging and drinking and drugging. So they, the drummer Razzle vaguely knew Vince Neil. I talked about that. They hear they're coming. They throw this big party. It's 4 days long. I got to refresh myself. So it's 12/8/1984. 1984 is quite the fucking year. I'm not going to lie. Big year.
Must have been.
My husband graduated high school. 1984.
Must have been partying
MTV
like a rock star.
comes out. So MTV makes these bands. I mean, before then you weren't going to, like, they made
mainstream.
They made Motley. MTV made, I can remember in 5th grade MTV coming out and it was like, what? My mother won't let me watch it. Like I was crazy.
I was never allowed to watch it.
1984 was a fucking wild year. So they've run out of alcohol. So Vince Neil, who's been drinking for 4 days, is like, I'm going to the liquor store. Razzle's like, dude, I'm going with you.
Oh.
He gets in the passenger side. So they are driving Neil's 72 orange red Ford Pantera. I should have Googled what it looked like. I can only assume it is a fast muscle car.
I was going to say,
he's not driving a Pinto. He's driving a hot car. He is. Because I will say in 1984, Vince Neil was hot. Not so much now. He actually had a 6-pack in 1984.
Still in the same face.
I thought he was kind of cute.
Okay.
I did. I like blondes. Natural or not.
Yeah.
So after about an hour, McCoy's like, where are they? Where did they go? So he and the band manager, they're all so shit-faced. They take off. Where are these guys? And they pass like an accident, but they're not really paying attention. And then they pass it. They're like, shit. That's Vince Neil getting arrested. They fucking turn around and they come back and they see Vince Neil in cuffs going in the back of a squad car and Razzle's getting loaded into an ambulance. Neil and Razzle, at 6:38, they hit a wet spot on a road that so there's a fire truck stationary. For whatever reason, this fire truck's there. They're trying to get around him. He hits a wet spot. He spins out head on into traffic. He's doing 65 and a 25.
Okay.
His car goes into oncoming traffic. He hits 2 other cars. One driver was 18-year-old Lisa Hogan. She's rushed in critical condition to the Little Company of Mary Hospital.
Oh, God.
She has a broken arm, 2 broken legs, and she's in a coma for a month. She suffers massive brain damage and seizures permanently for the rest of her life. Her passenger is 20-year-old Daniel Smithers. He has a broken leg and brain damage. The driver of the 3rd vehicle, thank God, is not injured. Vince Neil, cracked ribs, minor facial cuts. Razzle is DOA. He's at South Bay Hospital, and he's pronounced at 7:19 p.m. Vince Neal's arrested with a blood alcohol level of 0.17.
Yikes.
Which the legal limit is 0.10. Neither he or Razzle have seatbelts on when this happened.
Yeah.
In July of 1985, he had been charged with suspicion of drunk driving and vehicular homicide. He's convicted of it in July of 1985. How long does he serve in jail, Laura? 1985. How long?
2 months?
20 days.
Oh, good. Oh, that's good.
Kill somebody, 20 days. He has to pay $2.6 million, which at that time is like $20.6 million to the injured parties. Andy McCoy has still not forgiven him for this accident. So this interview with them that you had given me, they're talking to them currently. Mm-hmm. He's like, he's never apologized for that accident. Never. He's like, the rest of the band came out and apologized. Couldn't believe it happened. He's never come out and said he was sorry. He cannot forgive him for that. It almost broke up the band at that time. Of course, money always wins out. You know, they were at the height of their career, and they are still touring. So they've gotten over whatever issues they have together because they're all fucked up. I love like they're pointing fingers.
You would have done the same thing.
Any one of them could have been in that car and been in that accident. I am not forgiving his actions.
No,
because it's disgusting. There's some innocent people severely injured from this, but excuse me, and he should have done time. Yeah, it's the 80s. A lot of shit happened in the 80s. Yeah. And do we have an email? Okay. So we do have an email.
Yes. So this is from Andrea. Timothy Piazza link. Sorry to remessage. Instagram wouldn't allow me to send the link to the Timothy Piazza case update. So here's my message with the link. I've been a silent listener for quite a while now and love the show as a fellow RN. I do the dreaded med surge and have for about 8 long years.
That's a long time.
I'm an internal traveler at...
Sorry.
I'm an internal traveler at present for a large system and listen to the podcast on my drive to and from work. About 2 hours.
Oh my God. It takes you 2 hours to and from work?
I cannot fathom.
I can't stand 30 minutes.
I found the episode on hazing quite intriguing as I live about 20 minutes from Penn State and learned more information on the Timothy Piazza case from your podcast than I ever did from local news stations.
Such a sad case.
However, this article was just released and thought you might be interested in an update. Additionally, not that it matters, it was Joe Paterno, not Pantioni.
I know. I know. I'm terrible. Sorry.
And likely the hospital was Mount Nittany Medical Center.
Now you know I got it wrong.
I did a short external contract there. I certainly hope there's justice for Timothy Piazza and his family for his senseless death. And she sent us a article that we will post to our social media.
It took me a minute when we read this email. I was like, Timothy Piazza. And then I was like, oh, that poor kid. That kid's, it's heartbreaking, that story.
Signed, exhausted med-surg bedside nurse, Andrea.
Hey, listen, we'll take in the OR anytime, Andrea.
Yeah,
come
Andrea,
on down.
Come my way.
Come on into the dungeons. So we released the Karen Reed episode, right? And the YouTube hate coming at us was ridiculous. And it was ridiculous because the people that were commenting clearly hadn't listened to the episode. No. Because A, we start the episode off with saying anything we say is strictly our opinion.
Right.
And B, most of the episode, we're talking about careers in nursing.
Right. It's not actually about the Karen Reed tree.
It was ridiculous what people, it's like they just saw something about Karen Reed and had hate. Yeah. And so I'm still listening to the 13th Juror because she's still posting things on it. And she's talking about how even all these people who are getting just all this hate. If you say anything that's Karen Reed related, you're going to get hate from both sides. It's ridiculous. Crazy. So,
well, they're like, I hope you got your information from more than just Court TV. I'm like, did we?
You don't even know what we're talking about. We said
we
watched. It was great watching. Yeah, but again, because I didn't listen to it before that, so I had this in mind when I was listening to it. And I was with Brian. I think we were driving back from DC. Never doing that again. I hate that ride. And I was like, can you just listen and see if did we say anything here? And we're listening to it. And we clearly state we're giving our opinion on it. And we also clearly state what trash TV it was to watch. It's just, whether we got our information or not, Court TV, a lot of it was just live video of what was going on in the courtroom. So you couldn't have gotten it wrong. That actually happened. Right. So I don't know what you're talking about. And we were just laughing about the different things going on. Yeah. So it was just, it bothered me because I was like, you clearly didn't listen to this episode. You just saw the title and went with it.
It's funny because some of the comments were like, "LOL, your source is Court TV."
No, really? Because where am I going to get information on nursing from Court TV? Like,
you didn't listen.
Dumbass. We talked about forensic
careers.
nursing.
Yeah.
Like,
But all Court TV is showing you.
it's the same, right? So they didn't lie. It's just the video. I mean, you're watching the fucking fan for hours. Like
that only fan was really, yeah.
Oh, it
What else?
drove me nuts. So anyway, it's a lovely, gorgeous summer
Beautiful.
evening. Laura and I having a couple of Aperol spritzes, and we're going to make our way outside and have some fresh homemade pizza.
Mm-hmm.
So, we will talk to. We almost gave you a repeat episode, but we
Got it
rallied
together.
We rallied through it.
Yeah.
And we will probably see you again in 2 weeks.
I'm gonna play you out to Celine on the Eiffel Tower.
Oh, you got it, Laura? You got it?
Of course I do.
Imagine being blessed with that voice and you can't use it, like Julie Andrews. That's beautiful.
She feels like someone is pushing on her throat and neck.
And pulls that off.
You're welcome.
We should cover Julie Andrews too.
Okay.
What a voice on her too. Good old Mary Poppins.
Yeah.
No, she can't sing. All right, guys, enjoy your summer. Get out there. There's not much of it left.
Oh, no, stay outside.
Oh, get outside.
Yep.
All right, we'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Like, subscribe, rate, and review the Scissors and Scrubs podcast on whatever podcast app you listen to us on. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Scissors and Scrubs. And email us any of your stories or thoughts to scissorsandscrubs@gmail.com.